Alright, so here we go. Let's go over there for a minute. We're using the regular camera right now, so you're not going to be able to look around. Oh, how boring. We don't need you shining into the glaring window either. Okay, so meanwhile, here's what we got. We have two different size coax. Now they all take the same connector, which is called the PL259. The PL259 has a large opening in the back, so that'll carry your normal RG8, your heavy coax. But when you got to start going to the smaller coax, you need what they call a reducer. Now, this is called a 175 reducer. This is made for the thinner of the two. And then there's a 176 reducer, which has got a bigger opening, which is made for the heavier of the two. So it's important that if you're doing this, you know what reducer you're going to need, because the reducer is part of your grounding as well, so you want to make sure it's a good tight fit, because if it isn't, you're going to have a poor ground and you're going to end up with a bad SWR. Now, for those of you who are involved with this and know it, I don't want to hear any bullshit because I'm not using technical terms. If you can't follow the easy way, well then, get a life. There was a guy looking at one of my videos, Ed something or other, something like that. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. And it was an older video when I was doing some PL259 work, and I was doing a little work on something else as well. Now, first thing you want to do is you want to make sure when you're doing this is that you put the sleeve on first. So you unscrew the sleeve from the connector. And let's get the sleeve over and make sure we're getting it over right. We want to make sure the threads or the gnarly side is going to be facing forward, because you want to be able to put it back on where you took it off. Then you have to determine, once you've decided what reducer you need, how you want to do it. There's two ways of doing this. Both will work. The right way and the right way. The right way is you put the reducer on, you fold the shield over it, and then when you throw on this has little holes in it. I don't know if you're seeing them. And then the shield will be seen. And then you solder the shield to that. Now, if I was putting this outside, or where it was going to be straining a lot, some pull on it and things like that, well, then I would probably do it that way. But seeing that I'm inside, I'm going to cheat. And it works, so it's not a big deal. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. And, and this is where the guy started yakking. Oh, I could tell you're a real butcher. Yeah, get a life. All this kind of stuff. A typical troll. And then I went to his channel. I wanted to see a little bit more about him, because sometimes people just haven't got a way of saying things. Now, what I did was I slid the reducer over the shield and the casing. So it made it tight, and it's giving me a decent ground. But anyway, he was just downright insulting. So anyway, I go to his channel. I wanted to see who the hell this guy is, and I don't get too involved with them. They got to do what they got to do. If it makes them happy to down somebody else, well, good for you. That's all I can say. Now, this, where that thread is on the bottom, will now go in here, the tip coming through here. Now, you want to tin this before you put this together. because it'll make it easier for the solder to flow. And that's what we're going to do there, see? That screws onto the reducer. Now the wire fits and everything is fine. Now again, the other way would be the shield that I folded back under the reducer will normally go over the reducer, which means I'd see it in its holes and I'd be able to solder it. But seeing that I'm out here and I'm not going to have a solder iron that's going to get hot enough to do that, I'm going to be just doing it this way. So I'm going to leave that one like that for now. So and there's the other end. Once I'm done, everything screws together. Because I got to tin that wire, and I don't have my solder iron ready for that. So now we're going to go to the other one. So again, I'm going to unscrew this. So I go to this other channel, and he's got one sub, and he's been on for about a year. All right, well, that can happen too. You know, sometimes you're just not there, but you're not going to get popular by trying to be a smartass, you know, or condemning, you know, or that's all you're on for. Well, then fine, you know, again, everybody has their own thing. So now this coax is the heavier one. This is double shielded. This is for the HF side. This is going to be for the not for the 2 m 440, but for the HF. And this is going to be a little bit harder to get off. There we go. Now this has a double shield. It has the shield and then it has a foil, which is actually good. You know, that's what you want. Double shield is always nice to have. Alright, so meanwhile, you know, I kind of ignored them. I answered them. I forgot what I answered them. It wasn't nothing cocky or anything like that. And, yeah, I'm sorry that you look at things that way. You know, everybody's a butcher in their own way. Yada, 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 yada. Enjoy the day and so on. Well, apparently, you know, this was an invitation to him to start getting cocky, you know. Yeah, basically he's trying to get under my skin. You know how trolls are. And I don't really run into a lot of trolls, to be honest with you. I don't know. I haven't really had a whole lot of experience with them, but, you know, I treat them with kindness anyway, and if they don't learn, then I just block them. You know, normally I wouldn't, but why should other people have to deal with, you know, on my channel, deal with that bullshit from this clown? So, apparently the kindness didn't work with this guy because that was just an invitation to come back more. So he came back more, again slamming the connector, and I'm still a butcher and I shouldn't be on YouTube and, you know, that kind of stuff. And so at that point I said, you know, okay, this guy wants to have fun, so let's have some fun. So I got back to him, and I'm going to paraphrase a lot of it, but a lot of it was, gee, I'll tell you, your parents must be proud of you the way they brought you up, you know. And I got into that part of it, you know, with your parents, you know, and not everybody sees everything the same way, and your parents did a fine job with you, I see, you know, and stuff like that, and, you know, they must be proud of you. And does he have any other siblings, or was he a lonely child, or did he eat them, you know? You know, and then back to the parents thing, you know, I figure I'm going to get under his skin one way or another. Well, anyway, after that, I didn't hear from him anymore. So, apparently, I either touched a sore spot, or he's thinking of a good one. Who the hell knows? You know, he's probably sitting home trying to figure out of a good comeback, or how he can try to bash some more. So he's probably writing this all down someplace and making memos. Who the hell knows anymore? But at that point, you know, sometimes you gotta find the right reducer, the 176, because this is heavier. Sometimes, even with normal, if there's such a person, stop picking up the wrong reducer. They'll get on there, and because they do know, and either they want to prove that they know, which I don't mind, it doesn't bother me. Like I say, everybody has a right to their opinion. That's what the country's all about, and I'm not going to condemn them for that. You know, and well, you didn't use the right term here, you didn't use the right term there. Well, that's because most of these guys just know, and they're not. I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but I'm an instructor. You know, and if you teach one thing, you can teach a lot. And you got to know how to get your point across to people that don't know anything. You know, and not that a lot of you don't know anything, but you know what I mean. So you try to relate to something that they may know. If I'm trying to teach you something about something and I'm talking tech terms that you don't understand, what am I teaching you? You know, and that's what a lot of these guys fail to understand, because they just haven't got that ability to understand that, because they're just so busy understanding what they know, which there's nothing wrong with that. So, all right, so anyway, that's where we're at. Now, I'm going to tin this before I go any further, so I'm going to shut you guys down for a few minutes. All right, now, what I'm doing here is I have the, oh, you don't see it, but meanwhile, I have the little butane solder iron here. It's not the best thing in the world for some of these jobs, but you know what? For now, it's going to work, because I don't feel like running an extension cord. And as long as it's not too bad out, and I let it get hot, what I'm doing right now is I'm just tinning the wire, because that'll help for the solder to suck down into this later. Might as well tin this one while I'm at it. A little more flux. I did put flux on the wire, but flux helps the solder flow as well. I hope she doesn't run over my van door, knock the door off its hinges, because she's not used to driving that van yet. Okay, she got it. Okay, so speaking of flux, in the midst of all my endeavors, I at one time ran a, well, besides owning, I also ran a little radio shop for a number of years. Now, my intentions weren't to go in and run the shop, by no means. As far as the whole shop, meaning the workbench, you know, the technician, stuff like that. However, it ended up being that as well. What had happened was we had a tech there. His name was Petey. Nice guy. But he was also full of himself and lazy. Now the tech guy was not just a tech guy. If he didn't have radios to do, and an install came in, he would also do the install. Now the thing is, he made money on this. Okay, it's not like, you know, he's getting paid to do radios, and, you know, when an install comes in, you know, he's still on the same pay rate. When an install came in, he would get 50% of the labor on that. And getting paid as well. And he'd be able to set the labor price. So it was a pretty good thing he had going there. Well, anyway, what I meant by lazy is something would come in and he would feel like doing it, he wouldn't do it. Oh, it's too much work. You know, or he'd price it so high that they didn't want it done. You know, that type of thing. And it got to be a real pain in the ass, to be honest with you. Now, when it came to where I was going here is soldering. He actually ended up costing the store more money than what he made, because he never wanted to use flux. If you use flux, you're not sure if you're going to get a good solder, this and that, you know, it doesn't get hot enough, blah, 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 blah. Well, what he's doing, though, is he's heating this stuff up so much that he was burning everything else around it. So at this point, I want to make sure we got the connectors on there. At this point, you know, he's making more work for himself, therefore costing the store money, because the store is paying by the time, and you can't charge for something if you're the guy that broke it. So finally, we had to get rid of him. And when that happened, guess what? I ended up doing it all. Well, it wasn't too bad, to be honest with you. Yeah, because when you're not ordering and pricing and shopping and things and looking for prices. And we used to use this guy Jack Daniels a lot too. You may hear me speak of him quite a bit. You know, what do? I sit there. Well, the more I sit there, the longer the day goes. So I didn't mind going in the back, doing repairs. An install come in, I didn't mind going out there doing the install. It doesn't bother me. And so that's what I did. You know, I'll make the money. I don't care. I broke my hand once. Actually, my wrist. And I came to work with a cast on. And the owner said to me, "How are you going to do anything with that cast?" Well, first of all, I told him, my name isn't Petey. I'll make it work. I did something you really shouldn't do. I had my head over the solder. And the solder smoke was going up my nose. And you really shouldn't be doing that, because it's no good for you. So anyway, even with the broken wrist and being in a cast, I still did everything I had to do. Install, not a problem. Repairs, not a problem. Manage the place. We don't need a hand to be a manager. All I need is know how to dial the phone and talk to people. And I say that, I mean know how to talk to people. And then that's it. But every time I solder and I use flux, I think of Pete. Now, eventually, they were having problems where, you know, he couldn't find work and this and that. And he was married, his wife was working. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, you know, live with the in-laws. And it got to a point to where they decided they were going to move to Florida, over there next to Tampa. I don't remember. It wasn't Tampa itself, but it was something over there, Clearwater, or whatever. I don't know. And he says, "Oh, we're going to be moving. We're going out. We're moving to Florida. You know, Connecticut sucks. You know, there's no work. Well, there is work. So back then, it was tons of work. The thing is, you have to work. You know, there isn't a job that you're going to get to where you can get hired on, make good money, and just sit there. That's not going to happen. So, alright, so meanwhile, back at the ranch, these are soldered. And I like it because I know that the heavy one is the Moto antenna, which is the HF. That's the thicker wire. The thinner wire is the 2 m 440. So I know we're pretty well set there. So now let me get this out of there. Bingo! And let's see if I can get my paws down inside there and get this one onto where? This one. Okay, and this one goes down to the antenna tuner on the bottom, which is tied into the HF unit. Oh no, we don't want that. Come on, get by all that. Get by all that. Come on, there you go. One more. Come on, stop being a pain in the ass. There we go. Come on, get in there. Whoa. I guess I'm going to have to unvelcro this for a minute so I can move it. Oh, I didn't velcro it, I screwed it in. Whoa, goodness, I did that. It must have been a good day for me. Let me get the pliers down in there. Snug it up a little bit. There. Make sure the tuner's tightening. Yeah, okay. And it's tied onto there. Yeah, good. Okay. So now we can just take this and flop it over. Bring that down there for now. Put this over here for now. Tuck it up underneath there. Want to make sure everything's going to work. Everything tied in. This is what radio now? Let me see here. Is this the radio or the main power? Okay, that is a radio. So that one is going to go to a 30 amp fuse. Right over here. No, I should have it. Oh, there it is. There's the other one, and we'll put that one on the other fuse on the other side, which is a 20 amp fuse, I believe. Let me take the cover off of this for a minute so I can see for sure. Yeah, okay. And that's going to go right there. Okay. There. Okay, so I'm going to say it should work because it should. But I'm not ready to tie in yet. So the antenna's on, the power's hooked up. We do have power. The connectors are hooked up, the antennas are there, everything is there. So everything there should work for me. Now, the other wire over here that I said I didn't remember what it was, the speaker wire, well, that goes to this. Those two greens get connected to those two speaker wires. And that's how that works. So, now this really isn't all that important. However, I do want it hooked up. And I got these two switches on here, and I forgot. I'm going to have to take this back inside so I can try to figure out and remember what's what here. Red and black is definitely ground. And I believe black is a common ground, and these two wires are basically just the two switches. But I want to make sure, so I'll take it inside to do that. Alright, so I think we can go inside for a minute. Yeah, let's do that. The wife had to go get some yogurt, lactose-free yogurt, because Nikki and Duffy like yogurt at night before bed. And they can only eat, well, they can eat anything, but lactose-free is basically what they should have. It's better for them and better for us because we don't have to smell them. So that's where we're at. So they didn't have any. They said they'd have it in today, so she's going over there to buy, let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of them, 2 a night. And believe it or not, some baby food. So Tucker's the little pit. He's the oldest one. And last year, the year before, they had to pull 17 teeth on him because they were just soft. You know, not soft, but they were loose. And which means he's doing a lot more chewing, you know, with the other teeth, as well as naturally the other teeth are probably getting loose. If not, the gums where he is chewing is getting, you know, sensitive. Who knows? So he eats. He likes soft food. He does chew on his bones, but he's been really digging into baby food. So the wife has been buying baby food for him, and he'll eat a couple of baby foods at night. Now, I think he just likes the baby foods, so naturally he's going to, you know, plead to Mommy to buy baby food, and Mommy's going to say, yes, little buddy. So, you know how it works, guys. Alright, let's go inside. Well, I don't need to take you inside. I'm going to take this inside and I'll be back. I actually thought I was done with these radios, which I am. However, I forgot to do one thing. Yeah, I forgot on the 2-meter 440 to check what they call the SWRs. Because if the SWRs are too high, it can damage the radio and cost a whole lot of money. Now they have what they call SWR meters that you can put in line. However, sometimes they're not right on the money. I mean, they're good. I'm not going to say they're not. But sometimes they could be a pain in the ass because if the SWRs are too high, what happens is it can blow the radio while you're testing it. So this is an antenna analyzer. This is made by Rig Expert. There's a number of them out there. Comet makes one. MFJ, my favorite company, makes one. Rig makes one, and there's a couple of other little Chinese companies out there that also make them, which I'll be using one of those in a minute. But I don't have to hook anything up other than this. Now, if I can get this somehow so you might get to see what the hell I'm doing, it may help without it shining in the sun. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I got to check. So I'm on SWR meter. So if I hit OK, what it does is it sends a signal to the antenna. And once it does that, it tells me, in this case, as you can see it, it's telling me I have a 1.4543, and that's at 14600 megahertz. So that's a good SWR for me. I'm happy with that. Anything like I would say 1718, I deal with it. Once it starts going over that, I begin to get a little uncomfortable. If it starts to go into the red, I'm not going to use it at all. And if it starts getting a little over that 2 or close to the 2, I'll keep my transmissions short. Okay, so meanwhile we're at well, depending, but somewhere around 14.5. So let's cancel that. Cancel. And I'm going to stay there, but I want to change the frequency. I want to go to a different frequency. So let's hit F, and let's see if I can move this up a bit. There we go. I'm going to take it to about 147.2. That's fine. Okay. Okay, now at 147, I'm a little high. I'm at 1.9. Now that's where I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable. Okay. Now the antenna is adjustable somewhat, so I can take care of that. So now let's cancel that. Let's go back. And let's go back into frequency, because I actually want to jump up. Well, I can't go that high on this one, so hold on a minute. We're going to turn this one off. Now, when I bought this one, I'm kind of pissed off at myself. I made a small mistake. They make a lower one, and another one is higher actually, and they also make one that goes up to 600. Well, my radios, my 2 meters, as anybody else's 2 meters, will go to 148. 149 up to 174. Well, when I bought this meter here, this one here, this antenna analyzer, it goes up to 230. Now, it was kind of a dollar thing, but at the same token, it was stupidity. Because when I'm looking at it, it was like 500 bucks. And I said, well, I don't know. But then if I bought the next one up, which went up to 600, which would have done everything I needed to do, it was 600 bucks. So for $100 more, I could have bought one that did 3 times the amount. And that's why I was kind of pissed off at myself. So, after that, now I got to remember how this one turns on, if the battery's not dead on me. So after that, I started looking around. I want to check the 440. The 440 should be okay. But after I started checking around on the internet, I said, I really don't want to spend that kind of money again. So I found a Chinese version. It's an AAI, Alpha Alpha India. And the model number is an N November 1201 Sierra Alpha. And it was under 200 bucks. And it goes way the hell up there. It goes like up into 6 gigs. I mean, and it seems to be just as accurate as the other ones. Just sometimes it would be a pain in the ass to turn on. And I built a case for it, and sometimes the case pushes the on button, and at that point when that happens, it discharges it. So I may be discharged here, so I'm going to hook this one back up to the rig for a minute, and then we'll go out there and, well, you know what, before I do that, hold on, let's go out here for a minute. Okay, I took the wife's old Subaru today over to a friend of ours. Okay, see, it's got the little right here. Well, this will adjust up and down as this will as well. So I just gotta get the Allen key so I can adjust that. And that'll bring that 1.9 that I'm not comfortable with down to a comfortable level. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna get the cable and charge that one up. Oh, I usually keep the cable out here, but what I had done was I brought all the cables in out of the van. If you remember right, I used to keep all my cables in the Astro van. So if I ever needed anything, it was there. Well, By doing that, what had happened was I moved all the cables into the shop while I'm in the middle of doing this, so now I have no cables in the van for anything just yet. But I will put a little cable package together, a little plastic Ziploc or maybe just a little snap cover for that. Now, Allen key. Do I have the Allen key out here? Let's see. So meanwhile, as I was saying, the wife has been driving the Subaru. Now last year, she decided that it needed a new timing chain because the dealer says 90,000 to 110, you know, somewhere in that area, you should put a new timing chain in it. Well, you know, she's got to do what the dealer says. You know, the dealer says, jump, you know, that type of thing. So, we spent $2,500 and we had the time, and it was actually a lot cheaper than if we took it to the dealer. There's this other guy over here that just specializes in Subaru, and he's half the price of the dealer, and he does twice the work, and he's right up front with you from the beginning. The dealer wanted $499 to do the timing chain, but they failed to tell you that they have to change the head gaskets and all that when they do it. And they didn't know if the head gaskets came with the timing chain package. Right? So by the time they were done, we're up to over $4,800 to do the timing chain on a $495 chain. You know, so that's how they get you. Oh, we'll do your timing chain for $495. But everything else we need to do that, we're taking you to the bank. Well, then it's not $495 now, is it? You know what I mean? It's just dirty play. So meanwhile, this guy Joel that deals strictly with Subarus and is constantly busy because his work is really good work. Do I have a cable here? Do I have one? Whoa, I may have one here. Nope, I don't. What the hell is this cable for? Well, it should say on it because I keep them marked. Oh, that's for the hotspot. Okay. So, meanwhile, they wanted over $4,900 to do the timing chain and everything that had to be taken apart in order to get to the timing chain and put back together. Joel, $2,400 and change, timing chain, head gaskets, new clutch, pressure plate, throwout bearings, sensors, tune-up. He did everything. All right? So we got more for less than half. So anyway, I told her then, I said, why don't we just think about getting another car, you know, for her. Well, I like my old Subaru. Well, she bought it in '97, new, you know, and it just turned like 100,000 miles on it. So we're not a big time traveler at this point like we used to be. So, and when we did travel, it always used to be either by boat or motorcycle. But meanwhile, she says, well, my front end's starting to make a little noise. Well, last year we had one of the front axles replaced. It cost us $140. It wasn't a big deal. And I said, well, we could take it to Chris. She said, okay. Then she says, well, the muffler's making a little noise too. Well, wait a minute. Let me take her for a ride. So I take her for a ride. Come to find out, the emergency brake is locked up too. I mean, it's enough to where you can move, but you know it's locked because when you go to let off the gas, the car wants to slow right down, you know, and it's not normal. So I said, you know what, babe, this car is going to cost us, you know, another $800-900 to get it fixed. I says, and then you still have a rust bucket here. Now, I was going to go through the whole car and, you know, fix all the rust and paint it for her and put some stripes on it and make it look nicey for her birthday. But when I realized it was going to cost all this money, I said, you know what? Yeah, no. So then when I bought this van, they had another, because she likes Subaru, and I like Subaru. I'd own a Subaru if they made a big one. But meanwhile, yeah, their Foresters and things aren't big enough for me. I need something the size of an Astro van, or at least. So meanwhile, I says, babe, they had a Subaru where I bought the Ford, and it had 400 miles on it. The car's new. You know, I says, you know, it's never been registered. It's a new car. You know, it's like new old stock. You know, it was just one that they used and let people take for a little ride, that type of thing. And they give us a real good deal. No, I don't want another car payment. No, 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 no. Well, wait a minute. How much time are we going to keep putting into the Subaru, you know, to where it gets to a point to where, sure, I don't care. As long as it runs. I'm not out to please anybody. I'm not out to impress anybody. I just need something dependable. So I said, well, you know what? Take the Astrovan. Right? The Astrovan is dependable. It's got that little short problem, but I can fix that, and I'll take care of that, or I'll take it down and get it fixed. I says, but the Astrovan is dependable. All right? I've been using it for 2-3 years. Not a problem. And it goes more places than the Subaru in the wintertime with the all-wheel drive than the Subaru does with its all-wheel drive. All right? I says, it's just a great vehicle. Take it to work a few days, see how you like it. She took it to work. She says, oh, yeah. It's a little hard getting used to because it's a little higher and it feels a little bit boxier. I said, that's because it's a little bit bigger. I said, the wheelbase is about the same, just that you're taller, you know. Well, now she likes it. So she says, okay, let's just get rid of the Subaru. So I took it over to Joel, the guy that did the motor, and I says, well, what do you think? He goes, oh, it's got to be worth a couple $1,000. I said, no, Joel, take a look at it. I says, it's not worth that. I says, you know, I couldn't do that to somebody. I says, the front axle's clunking. I said, there's a few $100s to fix that. Emergency brake cable's going to have to be done. That's another $150-200. You know, it's got a little rot here and there, you know, which is not a big deal because it's nothing serious, but it is rot, so it's going to have to be fixed. You know, I said, the interior is clean. I mean, it's no rips, tears or anything. It's a little dirty because of the dogs, but, you know, you get a cleaner in there, and you got a very good-looking car. Heated mirrors, heated seats, yada, 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 you know. He goes, well, it's still a 97. I go, yeah, I know it. He goes, all right, put it in the paper for like $1,400 and let him beat you down to $1,200. I said, Joel, I'll let it go for $1,000 just to get rid of it. So he says, well, I may know somebody for $1,000. I said, well, it's up to you. All right, you know, here you go. You can drive it. It's turnkey, but it does need work. You know, I said, you know the car more than anybody. So I'm going to take a few pictures of it and then just throw it on Craigslist for the hell of it. But like I say, we're just going to get rid of it. I mean, it's time. It's getting old. It's getting tired. You know, 97 normal. I would say that should have about 250,000 miles on it about now. It's worth $1,200 to $1,000 just for somebody to pull the motor because the motor's been redone, and we got receipts to prove it. So, you know, at that point, it's worth it for just that reason. If I was younger, it's not a car that you would want to work on as far as chopping it. But if I was younger, I would probably, and younger, when I say younger, even if I was another 5 or 6 years younger, I would take that car and I would chop it in half, take the back door out of it, and then bring the ass end up and weld it in place. So I'd have a shrunk Subaru just to have something different and give me something to do. But I ain't got the time for that right now. All right, listen, let me get an Allen key and I'll be right back. Okay, I need an Allen key and a cable. Allen key. sworn. Alright, so meanwhile I went out there and I just adjusted the antenna real quick. How I normally start it is I bottom out the antenna and then I lift it up between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch and then lock it. So that's what I had done. Now this antenna has 3 different types of adjustments because it's a dual bander. So we have the bottom adjustment. Okay, so meanwhile back at the ranch, here's what I did. This antenna has a couple adjustments. It has this one, and that one, because it's a dual band antenna. Now what I normally do to get started, in this case I had a 1 to 1.45 on one end of the band on the 2 meter side, and the high side of 2 meter I had a 1.9, which I don't like. So I came out here and I usually loosen this up, bottom it out, and then I bring it up about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch and lock it somewhere in 1/8 to 1/4 or in between. Lock it. Same thing there. I lifted that, let it bottom out, brought it up 1/8, dropped this one down in, brought it up about 1/8, and locked them all in at 1/8. Now that's a good start point. So with that being done, let's see what it did for us so far. So let's turn this on. Now I had a 1.45 on 146, which means the lower I went, the lower the SWR should have gone, and at 1.9 at 147, which means the higher I go, the higher the SWRs went. So I want to try to get it kind of even across the board. And usually that little adjustment will kind of do what it has to do. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so I'm on 145, which is really low, and I'm at 1.55, which is happy. Like I say, you know, 1.5, I have no problem with that at all. So now let's take it and cancel that. And let's go up a little bit in frequency here to 140. Let's take it up to 147, 148, where we were before. Hit the OK button, and we got a 1.3. So that's perfect right where it is. I'm not going to even worry about it. So like I say, just by lifting those up off the bottom it out, lift it up about 1/8 of an inch or so, lock it in, and you should always fall within a safe zone. But again, you always want to check it. But until you get a way of checking it, that's a good place to start. Alright, now the 440 side I can't do with this particular meter, so, or this antenna analyzer. So I got to shut this down, and I'm waiting for the other one to charge. It's on charge as we speak. So I'm going to put this back in the box once I find the box. What do I do with the box? Boy, I'm in good shape today, aren't I? Oh, here it is. So, meanwhile, I'm putting this back in the box. This is so I can hook it up to the computer, so I can actually get my settings, lock them in, hook it up to the computer, and do everything on the computer as far as seeing what's going on and not what's going on, and take it from there. I don't really use that side of it, but it's nice to know that I can. Alright, so meanwhile we'll lock this up because I'm not going to use this one anymore. This is the Rig Expert AA230. Alpha 230. That's what that is. Now as soon as the other one charges up, I'll be able to check the 400 megahertz. Now with the 400 megahertz, I don't have to adjust all those. I probably haven't got to adjust any of them. But I would adjust just the 400 side because the 2 meter side is doing fine, which was the 146 to 148, which we just checked. But I went higher and lower because there's a couple of radios that I use for the AUXnet, and when I do that, I am on different frequencies, so I want to make sure that it's all going to fit. Alright, so while that's charging, I got to go get a, do I have, yes, I have a screwdriver here. Oh, I got everything right here I need, so I don't have to go get anything other than what? I need a little bit bigger, oh, I got a large drill bit too. So I got everything I need right here. Alright, so while that's charging, I'm going to put you guys on hold and I'll catch you in a few.